What's going on, YouTube? This is MagDog TV coming back with another one. So it looks like NFL Insider Cameron Wolfe just gave us more insights of the Shedeur Sanders versus Deshaun Watson incoming training camp battle. We also have G. Bush setting the record straight about the media just throwing out anything. They really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We're going to talk about that in this video, so let's get to it.
Every other city I go, from Colorado to the Bayou I go. Y'all know the motto, get a info I know. My people know it's MagDog TV, let's go. To every other city I go. From Colorado to the Bayou I go. Y'all know the motto, get a info I know. My people know it's MagDog TV, let's go. To every other city I go. From Colorado to the Bayou I go. Y'all know the motto, get a info I know. My people know it's MagDog TV, let's go.
So once again, as I said before, Browns reporter G. Bush just exposed the Browns media for just throwing out any type of topic at us when it comes to what the Browns are going to do in this incoming 2026 football season. You have to be very mindful of the content you guys watch when it comes to this, because you have people that know what they're talking about, and then you have people that don't. You have a civil war that's going on that G. Bush will explain for you guys as well. But before we get into all that, NFL Insider Cameron Wolfe just gave us insights of the upcoming training camp battle. It is going to be a Shedeur Sanders versus Deshaun Watson battle, not a Ty Simpson and all that other BS you guys been hearing.
Their open competition in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders in particular. Todd Monken, new head coach there, very excited to be able to coach those guys. And look, both players are very different, but they're both playmakers. And there's a lot of excitement in Cleveland about a head coach that will allow them to do exactly what they do. Creating plays, wide receiver and left tackle at those spots. And maybe they wait another year for quarterback and allow these two guys, Shedeur and Deshaun Watson, to be able to show what they've got.
This sounds absolutely very good to me as a Shedeur Sanders supporter, simply because competition is good. Competition is what makes people better, especially a healthy competition. I love to know that Deshaun Watson will face off with Shedeur Sanders in training camp. My eyes will be glued to training camp when it comes to this battle. But one thing is for sure, Shedeur Sanders is going to be legendary. Shedeur Sanders will win this job. Shedeur Sanders will start ahead of the 2026 football season. There is no quarterback on the Cleveland Browns roster that is better than Shedeur Sanders. But I do love that the Browns have gave us information as far as it's going to be a Deshaun Watson versus Shedeur Sanders battle, but that's what I love to see. But there is a civil war that's going on. G. Bush just explained exactly that.
We are in the midst of what I like to say is a mini civil war going on. And let me explain this to you guys about why I was thinking about this and what I've been kind of gathering and collecting and hearing. You see, there's a couple of things happening right now with the Cleveland Browns. And a lot of it is surrounding and swirling the biggest fact of there's nobody leaking and saying no information. There's nobody talking because there's no reason for them to talk. And the reason why they're not talking is because the people in the front office, they don't trust the media. The individuals in the front office is not leaking no information to nobody. They're not on it like that. They're not on it like that. And so when they're messing around and they're not secure in what's going on, that insecurity is coming from a place of not having any knowledge.
And when you don't have any knowledge, that makes you more bitter. That makes you more willing to throw out anything because you're frustrated. See, Kevin Stefanski is not the head coach for the Cleveland Browns. So the media is kind of ticked off about that now, especially the fact that the Browns still decided to keep Andrew Berry when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. But G. Bush went on a little further to explain that bitterness that's coming from the media about how the Browns are treating them.
Start to develop and say, there's no more information more valid than the coach that's making the decisions. To a certain extent, that's true. But what happens if that coach What happens if that coach is faulty? What happens if that coach don't give you what he's supposed to give you? Matter of fact, what if the coach got an agenda? And the crazy part about this is every single person glossed over this. They're on record saying it. They're on record saying it. You might as well stop it. Go back and watch. Ross Tucker said it. He said, I'm a little disappointed in the Browns because of what they were telling me about these quarterbacks. Anthony Lima, I'm upset that they were running around telling us this was what it was. On record, in real life, in video. Albert Breer, same situation. I mean, the Browns were telling anybody that wanted to know. It's not refutable. Don't gaslight. It's there. So they've been told that information. We know where that information came from. But what happens is this. When you get that information, what do you do with it? If you take it as 1,000% gospel and don't do any other digging and don't do any other fact finding and don't establish relationships with any other people, guess what starts to happen? You develop blind spots. Watch. This is how the national media works. They don't operate as one-offs. They operate in unison. When they get that memo, and when they tell them this is what we're going to do, watch how everybody fall in line. Come on, TINGZ. FB TINGZ, what you say?
Kaplan, NFL Insider, right? He comes on the 92.3, the fan show, and now he's starting to bring up something very specific. We're going to listen to this. 1 second.
Do you believe that Shedeur has a chance to get this right, or are we just kicking the can down the road until...
Mind you, watch the question. The question Ken Karma is saying has nothing to do with the first part of his whole soliloquy. His whole first monologue has nothing to do with the question that was asked. Listen to the question and watch the talking points. Always remember, when somebody asks you a question and they spend 15, 25, 30 seconds prefacing something else that nobody was talking about, you know the talking point memos then came out. That email chat is crazy. Watch.
2027.
All right,
Bring it
to the
back.
fan show, and now he's starting to bring up something very specific. We're going to listen to this. 1 second.
Do you believe that Shedeur has a chance to get this right, or are we just kicking the can down the road until 2027?
All right, so here's the way that they think about it, based on my conversations with people around the Browns.
Who are you talking about based on the things, the conversations around the Browns? Who told you that? Nobody tell you that, bro. What you talking about? You talking about the new Browns? You talking about the new Todd Monkey and Andrew, the new Browns? We don't know. Go ahead. What you say?
Or are we just kicking the can down the road until 2027?
All right, so here's the way that they think about it, based on my conversations with people around the Browns, and also coaches who know what's going on there. Look, there was this belief in coaching circles that if you wanna work with the Browns, you've got to at least believe that Shedeur Sanders will be a factor in the quarterback position. Nobody's handing him the job, to be clear. But there was this belief that, look, there's talent with this guy. There's no doubt about it. As a matter of fact, I strongly believe, had there not been concerns with his character, he would not have gotten out of the third round. He's a drop back quarterback. He's not a runner. He could scramble. He's not a runner. There's a lot of talent with this guy. The question is,
this cat came out and immediately got right to his talking points. What the heck does scrambling and running have to do with what Ken Carman talked about? Here's how you know he has a list of bullet point talking points that are mindless. What are you talking about?
I'll admit it, I thought he'd go earlier, but based on the teams I spoke with who interviewed him, we talked to him before the draft, I mean, you could see why he dropped.
So if you hear one of these chronological stories going forward like that, and they're not mentioning the big event first, like if you got in a car accident, God forbid, like yesterday, and I was like, Lisa, what's going on? What happened yesterday? You're like, oh, I got in a car accident. You're not going to say, I woke up at 6:30, I brushed my teeth, and then kind of lead up into it.
Now, that was then, this is now. He's got a wonderful chance to be their quarterback of the future.
If I hear chronology, I might say something like, so you said you went to bed at 9, and that's when you kind of drove home. Take me from there and walk me backwards. What happened before that? So no matter how many times you rehearse a story in the correct order, when someone asks you to kind of walk backwards.
Remember how the conversation has evolved. Remember that.
Since he's been here, I got to defend him. He has been so likable. He's been out in the community. He seems to be a guy putting in all the work from everything we've heard. What were you hearing character-wise?
All right, it has nothing to do with off the field. We're not talking about getting in any trouble. We're talking about, was he totally committed to being a great quarterback?
You really, really struggle. But if I asked you from right now when we sat down on these couches, what happened, and walking backwards to this morning when you woke up, you could do that.
Because it actually happened.
Because it's real.
You watch the tape, again, everything I've been told that from a talent standpoint should go no further than the third round. There was no conspiracy, folks. It's such complete nonsense.
But if we have this chronological thing that's a rehearsed story that's not true, we really struggle to go backwards for.
For people who are plugged in, for people who talk, for folks who cover the league, or if you talk to a coach.
Have you ever heard in a quarterback that has been playing quarterback that is the son of, and I don't even like bringing this up, but the son of an NFL player who's been playing under that NFL, playing quarterback under one of the biggest spotlights ever. He doesn't even have to play quarterback. And I think that's that, right? That's what it is.
That's so good. The way you explain about the ABC as well, I totally get it. Yeah. So you're recalling on your memory, and that's why you can actually say it backwards, because it's a memory versus a memorization.
Yes. Very good.
And we give, and you say make it make sense. Oh, I think we did great sense of it. By the way, this is a body language expert who trains CIA agents. And he's talking about how you spot somebody who's regurgitating talking points. And when you listen to this guy, and how you can pick it up is when you're asking a question, he's giving you a chronological order of everything from the back to the time where Shedeur Sanders fell in the draft. The problem to spot any of these talking points is just like he said. If you said, what happened yesterday, and I knew you got in a car accident yesterday, you would just say, I got in a car accident. You wouldn't say, well, I woke up at 9 o'clock. I had breakfast. I got my clothes on. I went downstairs. I was looking around. It was a nice day. So I decided to put my blue blouse on. Then I walked outside, put my keys in the car, and I decided to. No.
So in a nutshell, be very mindful who you guys follow, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's a Browns media outlet, the national media. Just be very mindful of who you guys are listening to, because we want accuracy. We want correction. We want everything to be precise right here on MagDog TV. That is why we follow G. Bush. That is why we follow FB TINGZ, because this is a new era. I don't follow Mary Kay anymore. I started to pick up a little bit from Tony Grossi, because Tony Grossi is now on that new train. He's now on that new wave when it comes to the Browns media. So I'm going to continually follow Tony Grossi, because Tony Grossi finally gets it. And so if I get information from Tony Grossi, I know I'm getting correct information. Mary Kay is not giving me anything correct until she gets on that train, and she still have time to get on that train because the season hasn't started yet. But as of right now, those are the people that we're following. Of course, Mel Kiper as well. Mel Kiper been setting the record straight since the fall of Shedeur Sanders, and he's still going strong 1,000%. You guys can get down in the comments and let me know your thoughts about this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the post notification bell. That way every time I upload a new video covering Shedeur Sanders, you guys will see it. Also hype this video, that way YouTube could push it out further for more Browns fans, NFL fans, and of course Shedeur Sanders fans. If it wasn't for Shedeur, we probably wouldn't be here, if we're being honest. But because he's a part of the Browns, I am a part of the Browns, and I am a new Browns fan because of Shedeur Sanders. Until next time, MagDog TV out. Peace.